So I had three ideas for us today. I figure, you know what? I haven't created the content yet, but I was like, you know what? Let's see what we're in the mood for. Because some of these I'm not a big fan of. Are we ready? Okay. So here are our options. So we have expert level spelling bee, which would be monumentally harder than the last one. Dan, really, really appreciated your presence here last time. You were hilarious. Then we also have an opportunity for general pop culture trivia. Steven's lack of knowledge in pop culture is hilarious to me. And the fact that everyone knows the answers to these questions and he doesn't, it just love it. You guys can participate too if you're interested. And then one more thing for Black History Month, we could also do Finish the Lyric Black History Month edition. What are we thinking?
Uh-oh, that one could be... Sorry.
Well, what are the rules around that topic? What do you mean by that?
Okay, so are we going to do Finish the Lyric?
Well,
I'm not going to play it.
I'm not saying we're playing that. I'm just curious what your rules would be there. Like, is this purely an academic answer that is free of social stigma, or?
Yeah, of course. It'd basically be, now this is the Black History Month edition, so you know it might be some older songs, might be some rap, and there might be
so like Steven, what's the next lyrics? Like I'm brainless.
What?
Oh, what's the next you know, that would be the one to say.
What? Dan,
so it's like
what are
then
you
get to
talking
fill in
about?
the blank.
Dan, what?
Oh, you don't know what the next lyric is of a
We
very
don't listen
influential
to misogynistic songs like that.
No, I don't listen. If they use the B word, I don't listen to them, okay? I take
You
after
just
my
turn it
main
off
man,
and
Lupe,
do it, Dan.
okay?
Gotcha,
We don't believe in that.
We turn it off and Dan turns it up, okay?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so I guess, should we go with Finish the Lyric? This will be ready in an hour.
Or like the pop culture one the most. I'm not gonna...
Yeah, because that's where Steve gets fucking demolished.
Okay.
Does he really not know the answer to pop culture
He
stuff?
doesn't know the
No,
answer
what
to
the
anything.
Why would what do you mean to anything, Dan?
With pop culture?
Dan, you want to debate metaphysical realism, Dan? You want to? Yeah, that's what I thought, Dan. Dumb fuck, you fucking cuck piece of shit.
Yeah, that's boring.
Yeah, Dan, you don't even
That's
know
useless.
the physical...
Do you want to debate about? Dan, do you want to debate about stock markets, Dan?
No, oh yeah, let's talk about fucking GameStop somewhere. That's very
Yeah,
relevant.
that's right,
Let's
Dan.
go.
Yeah, stay
Fuck
mad.
you, Steven.
Stay
You
mad, Dan.
fucker.
He's mad. Didn't Destiny used to watch Limbaugh as he's sad today? Am I sad that Limbaugh is dead? I mean, it's sad, I guess, whenever a human dies, but Limbaugh is probably one of the worst people to exist in my lifetime for U.S. history. People dying, I guess, is always sad personally for the family and everything, but Limbaugh is the definition of a subhuman piece of shit, and has probably done like a lot of real material damage to political discourse in the United States in probably some of the worst ways. That guy was a really, really, really bad guy. That guy was a really fucked up dude, in terms of like what he got people to believe in. Yikes. Did you used to listen to him? Yeah, I used to listen to all the conservative guys all the time. I would listen to Rush Limbaugh, Michael Savage, Glenn Beck, Billy Cunningham, and then a couple local guys that were conservatives that nobody's ever heard of before. One of the many shitty things that Limbaugh did. Don't let anyone make you feel bad about making jokes today. Listen, I don't want to get caught defending fucking Rush Limbaugh today, okay? This is really fucked up and horrible if he did this, but I don't know if my current opinion of somebody would be influenced by shit they did in 1984. Like, this is 40 years ago. It's possibly changed, it's possibly didn't. You know what? Honest to God, Rush Limbaugh making fun of people that died from AIDS, I could totally fucking see him doing it, even in his later years as possible. Oh, he apologized for this later on? Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm not gonna even, I don't want to touch this. It's too much nuance. Most people can't handle this level of conversation. Listen, Rush Limbaugh, bad. Okay, here, everybody repeat in chat, okay? Everybody say Rush Limbaugh bad so we can congratulate ourselves. Please just type this in chat. Rush Limbaugh bad. There we go. So that we know. Yes. Good job, guys. If you could erase any single person's impact on American politics, which one would you choose? I'm not good enough with history to know that. From an entertainment perspective, probably would have been Rush Limbaugh. He was hugely influential. Was Rush Limbaugh the most popular radio host of when he was alive? Did he have more listeners than any other? I think he did, didn't he? the EIB here, the golden microphone or whatever at the EIB. Rush Limbaugh. God, I used to listen to his program so much. Oh, fuck. Is there anything you think is irredeemable? I think that from an ethical perspective, I have to be very careful. I don't like to commit myself into thinking that it's good when people are killed. Because it's, when I think of like punishments for people, I don't think I believe in the concept of like retribution or justice. These are things that I don't really think about much. Now, depending on how you define justice. I'm more of a fan of like, can you change somebody's behavior? If so, do it. So when I think of like criminal justice, right, I don't like the idea of like punishing somebody. I'm more a fan of the idea of like, can you rehabilitate them and reintegrate them into society? I think this is how we should look at things. So typically being a fan of people dying, I mean, like, even if it is a net good to society, like technically if we were L from Death Note, no, if we were Light from Death Note and we could kill every single murderer, like would the world be a better place? I mean, it depends on what you consider better, but can't you be happy someone died but not want them dead while they're alive? I don't know. This is like a very finite, or this is like a very, very, very nuanced, like where you get into like, I don't think I would ever be happy, or I don't think we probably should be happy if somebody died. We could probably be happy that they're not on radio anymore. And we definitely don't have to be sad that they died. But I get a little bit weird about like celebrating people's deaths. And I've probably done it in the past. I'm sure I have. It's probably something you should try to avoid though when possible. Do you think people fetishize justice as something more vengeful? Yeah, of course. But I think everybody does it. I think people love revenge and they love to see people get killed for shit that they did wrong. I think that's a very human thing. I think everybody partakes in it, which is unfortunate. But even people like on the left will like, I'm generalizing a lot right now, so sorry if this isn't true for every person on the left, but like when a cop goes to jail, you'll say like, oh, that pig's gonna get fucked up in jail, like no one's gonna have it. Or like if a child rapist goes to jail, like, oh, like that guy's gonna get raped so much in jail. Like people will like celebrate that kind of stuff. Like they're really happy about it. So I mean, I think sometimes I think people pretend like they're in favor of rehabilitative justice, but usually that's only for people that they think shouldn't have gone to jail in the first place. Or people that they would view as like victims of other like systems or whatever. But then when it comes to somebody they really hate, they're full on board the murder train, you know? Something that I have figured out, I'm gonna try doing this more often. I think this is one of the most effective like new like little tricks I've discovered in a conversation. I did this once against Rob and it worked really well. And I think it was gonna start working with the I or L hypocrite guy is I think that something that's really effective is asking somebody to restate or state what they think another position is. Because I find when people do that, I think they kind of out themselves as being a little bit, dishonest. So like, I remember that Rob, when we were having a conversation with Rob, over and over again, Rob kept saying like, oh, well, you think Trump incited a riot, even though he was being peaceful, blah, 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 blah. But when I stopped for 1 second and I asked Rob, I was like, why do you think I would say that Trump like incited a riot? He actually was, surprisingly, he was actually able to explain what I was going to say, which surprised me at the time because I didn't think he understood. But he was actually able to illustrate that he did have an understanding of what I would say. I want to ask you questions. I just want to ask you questions, okay? Why do you think I believe that Trump incited a riot? What do you think I would say? So somebody asked Destiny in a closed room, okay, not on stream, and like, Destiny, why would you say that Trump incited a riot? What do you think my response to that would be? What kind of things would I say?
Think he would say something to this effect, that because he released disinformation that he knew that it would agitate people, so he knew what the likely response of that would be.
Correct. Yeah. You're right. You're very, very, yeah. So then why, wait, so you answered that question correctly. Okay, you did. You nailed it. Congratulations. But why is it that when you just accused me of saying that Trump incited a riot, why did you just bring up like the one thing that he said at the end of his speech? That's not the issue that I'm mad at. The problem is all of the disinformation before that. So why wouldn't you bring that up then? But I noticed that like when I asked the hypocrite guy the question of, can you explain what you think that sex toy article was about? he was actually able to give an explanation that was a lot closer to what that article was about than his uncharitable characterization of it. So I didn't get to ask him the second part. I was like, oh, well, what do you think about that, right? But I think from now on, I think I'm going to do that more, where I'm going to ask somebody like, let's take a break. What do you think I think about this? Or what do you think is actually being said about this? Because when people stop and they restate things like that, I find that I'm actually surprised at how well they seem to understand what's being discussed. So there's like a breakdown somewhere else that I think asking that question illustrates. Oh, Slant, sure. When I had that conversation a long time ago with Ian, yeah. I think you should disable YouTube notice when you debate conservatives. It's abusive to take money from the mentally disabled. Good one, RTBA. Good job on calling him out, saying, I'm just saying. Everybody on the planet does that. It triggers the fuck out. Yeah, it just really triggers me when people just won't own their beliefs. Don't do this like, I'm just saying. No, hold on. You are saying this. Stop saying you're just saying. Like, just own what you're saying to me. That drives me crazy. Yeah. Holy shit. Destiny just learning the importance of having an open dialogue. No, what I'm talking about is how to baby somebody that is being mentally immature and threatened in a conversation and having a more open conversation. If I was talking with somebody else that was a mature adult, I wouldn't need to employ these tactics or strategies to figure out what a person actually knows or is thinking or to get a good response out of them. Because most adults or mentally mature people would be able to have the conversation without me having to think so hard about whether or not they understand what I'm saying. For an example of this, go see my conversation with Pisco and Bastia. Or any conversation I've actually ever had with Pisco. Especially because he only comes on when we disagree on stuff, but I think those disagreements are done really well. They were so close to understanding that the entire problem with porn is that it's children's first contact with sex. It's so yeah, I don't know, it's whatever, dude. But talking about anything related to like child sexuality is like a huge fucking yikes territory anyway, which is part of the problem. Like, it's one thing that sucks so hard is that in society,
love the cringe content. Some real duckacies handed out in that convo.
In society, it's seen as being like very, very taboo for parents to talk to their children about sex. It's a very uncomfortable topic, and there's like no guiding way to have that conversation publicly because nobody wants to touch that topic. But we hypersexualize the fuck out of younger and younger and younger people. Like the way that like 13 and 14-year-olds look, depending on like fucking concerts they're going to, or the way like that shit is. It really sucks that a prepubescent person's like first engagements with like how to present themselves sexually in public is coming from like pop culture. I think that's a really toxic aspect of our society. But hot take, this is just a feeling from my 5 hours of gameplay so far. I have a feeling that by the time I finish this game, I'm gonna end up giving it, I'm gonna guess, a 2 out of 10, okay? Now, based on the gameplay and everything that I've played so far, I think I would give this game like a 5 out of 10, maybe a 5.5 out of 10. But I think the reason why I'm going to rate this so much lower is because there are actually elements to this game that I think are really cool. And I think I'm actually going to be incredibly fucking frustrated that there was so much potential for this game that it didn't live up to. The world in and of itself, actually, and like everything related to all the cyborg shit and all that shit, has actually grown on me quite a bit in a short amount of time. And I feel like I see where like this could have been, and I'm gonna get incredibly frustrated that it doesn't live up to what it could be. I think it's how I'm gonna end up feeling by the end of this. Like when you say the stream is too loud, do you want me to go to your house and turn down your computer? I don't know what you're asking me.
Can you tell me how Andrew died?
Doesn't matter. Normally.
Another systemic issue is that development times have reached a point where new tech software and even new coding teams themselves are shuffled before a game is finished and thus changes the equation continually.
Whole world.
It's near impossible to stay on top of.
Wow, thank you, Anonymous.
Should gaze up at it now.
Ashbox and the niche will have to do.
Wait, so this guy's friend was fucking, he died of old age? Why are you even that upset?
So then Andrew was more like a grandpa to you than a friend?
Wouldn't go that far. He was like I don't know, a window into the past or something. He reminded me of my grams about our little talks. Time when everything had its proper place.
Christ.
You know?
Barry.
He was the last living record of those times.
Oh, God. Oh, no. I mean, you gotta move on, dude. That sounds like really cold to say. I'm worried that, like, because, like, number one could be like, everyone's got their limits. Looks like you've reached yours. Time to die. Or it could be like, everyone's got their limits. Like, I understand why you're so upset. Or it could be like, people die. Time to move on. Don't be a pussy. Or...
Mendez is right. You gotta tell the world to go fuck itself.
Right. So
like, this is a horrible answer.
Everything I've seen. That kid. Even Andrew.
He's gone, and you're here. It's time to stop living in the past. You won't change anything by sitting here alone and wallowing in misery.
I think we're done here.
Like, this is answer.
Suit yourself.
Oh my God. This is, I'm getting big, okay, one problem with this game is, what do you call it? LA Noire vibes. Where, like, somebody's like, my child died. And then, like, one is like, I understand. And two is like, well, what are you gonna do about it, right? And then you're like, okay, well, that's bad. I'm gonna pick number one. And then you pick number one, and it's like, I understand that you're a shit parent that let your kid die. It's like, whoa, that's not what I meant.
Hey, Barry, everything all right?
Game is too loud relative to my voice. Well, turn down the game, turn up my voice. This is real life. This is what it's like being on the streets, okay? You think when a guy's on a bike, okay? You think you can hear him clearly?
That shit, stop it!
Shut up. Loser. If they unironically put ads in elevators in the future, I'm gonna kill myself. Aren't there already elevators with ads in them? Yeah, at the very least you have like posters and shit. I'm sure there are probably some electronic ads. Remember to hit that like and subscribe, and don't forget the notification bell so that my videos show up right in your feed.
You blind?
You want me to show you if I'm